Alright, so we got a little bit of the taping done. Still got some more to do, but just going to do some documentation here. And so far, taping came out pretty good. Wasn't sure exactly what I needed to tape up since there's no interior in the car, so I've just done the back 3 windows. And it came out pretty good. So that's nice and tight there. Little video of the passenger side rear window, and I'm going to be just covering up things like the shifter, emergency brake, and I got a little bag over my air pump there for the air ride system that's in the car. It's hard to see because it's kind of dark in here. And I got some things hung up. Figure try to paint these parts in the position that they'll be on the car here. That's probably the best way to go when you have like a metallic or a pearl. So I'll instead of just setting them on my stand over there, I'll have the fenders on, sitting on an old toolbox there. I'll paint the fenders on the toolbox. I got the one door hanging there that'll paint in that position. Even though it's upside down, at least it's hanging in a similar position that it should be, I guess. Do the same thing for the other door once I get it off the car today. And I'm gonna just run some plastic. Probably start the plastic right here from the side of the door, and we'll come out this way and then go over and then across to the back. And then I got some tarp that the old man gave me today when I went over to borrow his step ladder, since all I've got is that ladder over there, which doesn't help you a whole lot. So I borrowed a step ladder from my dad, and he gave me some tarps to lay down on the floor to keep the overspray off the floor. He said that'd probably be a better idea than wetting the floor, since I'll be changing the humidity in the room. And let's see, we're running at temperature right now in the garage is 72 and a half. 72 and a half. That's a pretty good temperature to be running in here, and of course we're in a dry climate here in Arizona, so should be pretty good conditions for painting. And Greg, I know you sent me an email. I appreciate that. A lot of good tips in there. I do not know what's going on with my YouTube account, but I cannot find anywhere in there to respond to messages. They come up on my phone, but I can't seem to find anywhere on my YouTube account where I can reply back to messages and such. So lost your phone number after I read the message from you and exited the message, and now I can't get it back up to where I can find your phone number. So I was going to call you this morning, but if you could send me another message with your phone number, I would like to call you soon and get back in touch with you. The tips you gave me are great, and you reminded me about keeping the horns clean. I think we had a discussion about that, so I'll keep some Q-tips in the pocket, and a rag and some sandpaper is always nearby, of course, so got them in my drawer over there. And yeah, I went ahead and did a mock-up already yesterday. I went ahead and ran around the room with my air gun and my spray gun and just kind of mock sprayed things just to see how I'd be moving about. Should be okay. After I'm going to move the bug out of the garage while I paint the panels, and then once those are all done up, I'll move the bug back in and move the panels to a safe location where they're not going to get more overspray on them. And go from there. And I was gonna tape up these windows here on the door, but I thought, there's really no reason to do that since the doors will be off, and I'm not too concerned about my floorboard because carpet goes over that. I know some people seem to be real cautious about all that. I might lay something down inside there just to keep any debris that might try to float back up while I paint. I got some other tarps that my dad gave me that I can do that with. That might be a good idea to lay those down in there and keep any debris that I couldn't get up with the vacuum. And I went ahead and went in here and mopped with a sponge and tried to clean up a little bit. But I know I'm going to be doing some sanding of the nubs and dirt bunnies and anything else that might actually float in here. But overall the garage isn't too messy. It's fairly clean and organized, but I know it's not a booth by any means, and I don't expect to get booth quality, but that just means you're going to have to do a little more sanding and buffing in areas to get the little boogers and bugs and dust bunnies out that float in there. So I won't be disappointed by that. I'm expecting it, hoping for the best, hoping for the worst, I guess, and expecting the best. I don't know, expecting the best and hoping for the worst. I don't know. It is what it is. So anyways, a little bit of documentation, and I'll try to post up some more videos as I go along. One thing, Greg, I was a little worried about was the fact that I've been putting all this primer on and it uses hardener, and I'm just like looking at the tech manual, Matrix Tech book, and there's no hardener for the paint, which is just, it kind of blows my mind that there's nothing really to catalyze the paint. So I don't know how that works, but it's just reducer and paint. I guess there is some kind of a hardener additive you can use, but from what I read, it just shortens the pot life of your mix. So I'm not going to be doing that, and just going to go with what Andrea sent me. Andrea and Darren just sent me the paint and the reducer, and then my silver sail with its hardener and reducer. So I guess that's the way it's done. If not, hopefully somebody responds back to me before I get into this too late, but I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to do a little test paint on the back side of this deck lid, because I'm really not going to paint this the same color of the car on the back side. I'm just going to throw on some type of sound deadener like I have in here on the under the hood. So I'm not concerned about that. So I'll go ahead and just do some test spraying on the back side of this, making sure my fans are set correctly, and see how that all works out. But that'll just get covered over once I'm done with some sound deadening type material that I'll use. I'm not sure if I'll go with a Rapture liner or Line-X or anything like that, but something a little more up the alley of a poor man, which used some material. What I think I used on that was an as seen on TV product called Flex Seal, and I don't know what everybody's opinion is about that, but supposedly it's a pretty good sealer, and it has a little bit of a sound deadening quality to it, and I kind of like it. I know it's not probably high quality or anything or mainstream, but it works for me, and if it can seal a crack in a pot, I figure it can seal up bare metal or even primered metal. So that's what I'm going to go with, some of this Flex Seal, probably on the back of the deck lid. And I just ordered some of that on the internet, so that's what will be happening to the deck lid. Anyways, that's where we're at, and I'll keep putting them up as I go. Have a great weekend. Sorry.